My first professional project was a wedding. It got lost. Welcome back to my creative space. And if you're joining me for the very first time, hey, my name is Santos. I'm a content creator from Uganda, and I'm very passionate about this. And for those that have already subscribed to this channel, shared and liked my content, thank you so much. I know you're watching, and let's get into this conversation of how I handle my projects. But before I get to this, let me tell you how I lost my first wedding. And this was my first professional project. This happened because I was just starting out. I didn't actually understand how best I can handle a project from start to the end. Going home, trying to transfer data from the camera to the external drive, the card only told me that it needs to be reformatted. How on earth could the card ask me that question? From nowhere, I felt like the world was taking me to a different space. But guess what? Because of my research, I'd come along some interesting softwares that could enable me to recover anything in case I lost it. And yes, that's how I was able to recover most of the footage for this particular wedding. This client of mine has never known that I lost content at a certain point. I still work for the client, he's happy, I'm happy, because for me, it was a lesson to learn how to start a project and how to end it. And I believe there's so many people perhaps that face challenges. But in this conversation, I just want to share my own experiences so that I learn from you and you also learn from me on how best you can deal with certain scenarios that happen when you're dealing with projects. Regardless of how the project is, it is important for one to start with a planning script. Even if you're not good at drawing, just illustrate funny pictures and tell them we'll start from here and then go here and then go here. You know, in the process, the client will tell me, now at this stage, I want this. At this stage, I want this. That's how you're going to be effective with the project. Before you even get the camera, you already know which camera to pick, which lens to have on that camera, which kind of lighting you need, which kind of sound you need. Understand there are so many do's and don'ts for any creative project. But one thing that I've learned over time that is very important is to fully understand what the client requires from you. The expectations of the client are very key at the onset of the project. I have conversations with my clients, I befriend them, I make sure they tell me more about the project beyond just the paperwork, but their personal expectations. During the lockdown, before getting the project done, I would make sure I give a call to my client, we have a conversation, I take time to know how they're holding up, for example, with the lockdown, dealing with everything, the stress. But again, in the same process, I would chip in a question and find out exactly why they wish to have me do the project. Because you need to know why people have been attached to your skill set. In the process, after understanding, I'll know that it's a pandemic, I'm not going to the field with the client, I'm going to use stock footage. I need to buy the best stock footage. You have to make sure that you've set fundamental targets only. Because at the end of the day, every project that you get done not only impacts your pockets financially, but also as an individual, it impacts you. As I deliver for them, they also give me an opportunity to really see that, yes, the kind of producer, kind of camera person, kind of content creator that I always want to be is in line with these projects. So let me go for it and do nothing but my best. There are special documentary makers in the world. Not everyone out there does everything. When this comes, you do. When this comes, you do that. I think it's not right that way. It's just special for you to know that you belong to a certain aspect so that you do it so well. And by that, you become a brand. As we come to the end of this video, I just want to emphasize the fact that the pandemics that are happening and still going on, we cannot have definite principles that can manage, creative projects. But one thing for sure that I know right now that helps me is to sustain clients and understanding them. Engaging clients at every step of my production. Well, it's at this point that I encourage you, my dear friend that is watching, that please subscribe to this channel. I really want us to grow this space so that we are having a big and balanced creative space that is full of creative ideas, ideas that make us great, ideas that make generations to come greater.